They never thought you'd leave, did they? They got so used to your presence, your patience, your forgiveness. They assumed you'd always be there, waiting, hoping, begging for a scrap of attention. But you're done. No screaming, no explanations, no final words, just silence. And that's what haunts them the most. Because silence is not weakness, it's power. It's the final chapter of a book they never expected to end. It's the echo of every ignored moment, every overlooked effort, every second you spent giving to people who never gave back. You see, the world teaches us that love, loyalty, and sacrifice will always be rewarded. But reality is a cruel teacher. People take advantage of what they don't fear losing. They drain the ones who stay and only appreciate the ones who walk away. But now you've rewritten the story. You've flipped the script. You've taken control. You didn't slam the door. You didn't beg for closure. You simply left. And that silence, that empty space where you used to be, it speaks louder than any words ever could. They'll wonder where you went. They'll replay old conversations, searching for a clue. They'll convince themselves that they didn't care, until the weight of your absence becomes unbearable. But by then, it's too late, because nothing hurts more than a silent goodbye. You see, people don't value what they think is permanent. They grow comfortable, complacent. They assume you'll always be the one to forgive first, to try harder, to keep the connection alive. They get lazy. They get selfish. They stop putting in the effort because they believe they don't have to. And you held on longer than you should have. You excused their behavior, justified their neglect. You kept hoping they'd change, that one day they'd wake up and realize what they had in you. But people don't change unless they have to, and they'll never have to, as long as you keep proving you'll always be there. So now, you've done what they never expected. You disappeared. No confrontation, no warnings, no grand farewell. Just gone. And that silence, that's what will break them. Because the truth is, they were never ready to lose you. They just thought you'd never leave. But now, in the quiet, they'll feel the full weight of their actions. Or worse, their inactions. They'll remember every time they brushed you aside, every time they ignored your needs, every time they made you feel like you were asking for too much, when all you wanted was the bare minimum. And now, they get nothing. It's funny, isn't it? The people who never had time for you suddenly have all the time in the world to miss you, to wonder about you, to regret. But regret is a silent scream. It's the kind of pain that festers in the mind, creeping in during quiet moments, in empty rooms, in the spaces you used to fill. And they'll realize something brutal. It wasn't your presence that they took for granted. It was your love, your loyalty, your patience, your willingness to forgive. And now, they'll never find that in anyone else. Because what you gave, it wasn't common. It wasn't replaceable. It wasn't something they could find in just anyone. You were one of one, and they lost you. So let them wonder. Let them sit in their own silence. Let them feel the void they created. Because your silence, it's the loudest thing they'll ever hear. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them a chance to make things right. They had their chance. They wasted it. And now, you walk away without a single glance back. Because that's what real strength looks like. Not screaming, not begging, not seeking revenge. Just leaving. There's power in walking away quietly. There's power in letting go without a fight. Because the moment you stop proving your worth to those who can't see it, that's the moment you become unstoppable. And they'll never recover from that loss. Because nothing hurts more than a silent goodbye. Let them check their phone 100 times, hoping for a message that will never come. Let them revisit old conversations, looking for signs they missed. Let them dream of the chance to make things right, only to wake up to the reality that it's over. Because that's justice, not revenge, not hatred, just letting them feel the weight of their own choices. You see, people don't change when you beg them to. They change when they realize they lost someone they can't replace. And by then, you'll be so far ahead, so far beyond them, that even if they reached out, you wouldn't even feel the need to respond. That's the beauty of it. You don't need closure. You don't need an apology. You don't need them to understand what they did wrong. Because deep down, they already do. They know exactly what they lost. They just never thought they'd lose it. But now, they have to live with that. They thought you were weak. They thought you needed them. They mistook your kindness for desperation, your loyalty for dependence. They assumed you would always be there, waiting in the shadows, hoping for their attention, begging for their validation. But now they sit in silence, wondering where you went, wondering why you don't call, wondering why the person who always forgave, always tried, always gave them another chance, has vanished like they never existed. And that silence, that's what breaks them. 'Cause they thought they could play games forever, that you would always answer, that you would always wait, that you would always be the one to fix what they kept breaking. But you didn't. You walked away, and the sound of your absence is deafening. No anger, no outbursts, no last words, just a void. And now they drown in it, because nothing haunts a person more than the realization that they lost something they can never get back. And you were one of a kind. They may not have seen it before. They may not have cared when they had you, but they see it now, and they care now. Too bad, too late. That's the price of taking someone for granted. Because people don't realize what they have until they watch it walk away without a sound. You see, they were never ready for your silence. They were prepared for your anger, your frustration, your attempts to hold things together. They expected the fights, the explanations, the tears, but they never expected the day you'd stop explaining. That day is the day you won. Because silence is power. Silence is control. Silence is the weapon they never saw coming. They thought ignoring you made them powerful. They thought withholding love, affection, time made them strong. They thought the less they cared, the more you'd chase. But you flipped the script, and now they are the ones who care too much. Now they are the ones checking their phone. Now they are the ones replaying every moment, wondering where it all went wrong. And that is the sweetest revenge. Because you didn't have to do a thing. No yelling, no pleading, no proving. You just left. And that is what breaks them. Because nothing hurts more than a silent goodbye. Let them sit in the silence. Let them wonder. Let them regret. You don't owe them a thing. Not a response. Not an explanation. Not a second chance. They had their chance, and they wasted it. Now, they get nothing. And you walk away with your head held high, your heart intact, and your power restored. Because silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. And the loudest statement you'll ever make is the one you never say. They never thought the day would come. The day you wouldn't be there. The day your presence wouldn't be a guarantee. The day your silence would be louder than any words you ever spoke. You see, they were comfortable. Too comfortable. They thought they could treat you however they pleased, push you away, pull you back in, and you'd always play along. They thought they had you figured out. But the one thing they never considered, the day you'd get tired. Tired of the waiting. Tired of the disappointment. Tired of giving chances to people who never deserved them. And when you get tired, when you really get tired, there's no anger. There's no fight. There's no need to explain. There's just silence. And that's what shakes them to their core. Because now, the power is yours. Now they are the ones wondering. Now they are the ones overthinking. Now they are the ones who can't sleep at night, replaying every conversation, every mistake, every moment they took for granted. You could have screamed. You could have begged. You could have tried to make them see your worth one last time. But why? Why waste energy on someone who never valued you in the first place? Why waste your breath explaining things to people who only hear what they want? Number the greatest punishment you could ever give them. Your absence. Let them sit in the quiet. Let them drown in their thoughts. Let them wonder what happened, what went wrong, why the one person who always forgave them is suddenly gone. Because here's the truth. People don't appreciate consistency. They don't cherish what they believe will always be there. It's only when it's gone that they realize. And by the time they do, by the time they wake up, it's too late. And that's the beauty of it. See, people think power is about control, about being the loudest, about demanding attention. But real power is knowing when to walk away. Real power is knowing when to stop explaining. Real power is knowing your value and refusing to settle for less. And that's exactly what you did. You left, without warning, without explanation, because they didn't deserve one. And now they sit in silence, trying to figure out how they lost the person they thought they would always have, trying to figure out why their games don't work anymore, trying to figure out how the one thing they never appreciated has become the only thing they want. And that's justice. Because nothing hurts more than a silent goodbye. Not the fights, not the tears, not even the worst words spoken in anger. Number what haunts them? The fact that they'll never know what you were thinking. The fact that they'll never get a chance to fix it. The fact that they'll never hear your voice again. And that silence will echo in their mind forever. So let them wonder, let them question, let them drown in the silence they never saw coming. Because you don't need them. You never did. And now they know it too. And that realization, that's what breaks them. Not the loss itself, but the knowing. Knowing that no matter what they say now, no matter how much they regret it, no matter how much they wish they could turn back time, you're gone. They see you in places they never paid attention to before. They hear your voice in conversations that never interested them before. They remember your kindness in moments when they took you for granted before. And all of it, too late, because you're not coming back. See, people think they have unlimited chances. They think they can keep hurting you, keep disappointing you, keep testing your patience. Why? Because you always forgave them. Because you always came back. Because you always let them get away with it. Until one day, you didn't. And that's what sends them spiraling. Not because they miss you. No, they never truly valued you to begin with. But because they lost the power. They can't manipulate your emotions anymore. They can't play the victim and make you feel guilty anymore. They can't come back with empty apologies and expect you to believe them anymore. You've broken the cycle, and that terrifies them, because now they're the ones left waiting for a message that will never come, waiting for a chance to explain that will never arrive, waiting for the moment when you slip back into old habits and give them another shot. But that moment, it's not coming. Because you changed. You finally saw things for what they were. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you realize they never valued you, you can't force yourself to believe their lies anymore. Once you understand your worth, you can't go back to settling for less. And that's where your true power lies. Not in anger. Not in revenge, not in proving a point, but in silence. Because your silence forces them to reflect. Your silence forces them to see what they lost. Your silence forces them to sit with the consequences of their own actions. They can't argue with silence. They can't twist silence into something it's not. They can't manipulate silence to suit their narrative. Silence is undeniable. And when they finally realize that, when they finally feel the weight of your absence, it's not just regret they experience, it's pain. Because now they know you were the best thing that ever happened to them, and they threw it away. And the worst part, they'll never get it back. And you're finally free. Because nothing hurts more than a silent goodbye.